everybody, I am the Cadian Reporter.
And I am Jeff with Swamp Fox Wargaming.
And today we are going to be reading a short story, fanfiction, not that kind of fanfiction, by Zahariel called Lies and Deceit. I saw a lot of people talk about this particular writer on Reddit, the gold mine of finding good stories in fanfiction. And this one looked really interesting, and I am excited to jump into it. Jeff, have you ever read Warhammer fanfiction before?
I've never knew that they made Warhammer fanfiction.
Yeah.
But I mean, who doesn't make fanfiction? So I'm sure it'll be pretty good.
We're not going to talk about the fanfiction I have made.
You know, now that you bring it up, at some point we're gonna have to get that out of you.
What, the fanfiction I wrote?
Yeah.
No, sir.
Don't worry, there's 365 days in a year. It'll happen.
Anyway, without further ado, let's get into the story. Lies and Deceit by Zahariel. And if you guys have any stories you would like us to go over or read, leave it down in the comments so that we can see it, and we'll get to it eventually. Thanks in advance. The blood of heroes and martyrs was flowing on the paved streets of Luteria, and no one would mourn them or sing prayers for them. That, most of all, hurt Saul to his core. He had known he would die in the service of the Emperor when he had been formally induced into the Imperial Guard 20 years ago. The men of the 24th Cadian Regiment were doomed men, but their sacrifice would help keep the Imperium alive and be remembered for eternity. Or at least, that was how it should have been. But the war on the Demork had not followed any rules so far, and since the heretics were winning, there was little hope that would change.
I just want to point out, I think you meant the 247th Cadian Regiment. And Cadians don't really live that long, do they? I mean, roughly 15 hours, I heard, was the max.
I think your numbers are woefully incorrect. I'd like to have you know that we Cadians live for a very long time, long, healthy lives, and we live till 87 to serve the Emperor, because that's how damn good we are.
Is that the ones we're talking about on the front line, or the ones that report the new?
Both. Both is accurate. All right? Both. Okay? I don't need your sass when it comes to the guard, okay? All right?
I'm not questioning. You know, I'm just trying to figure out, you know, the level of accuracy here in storytelling.
Well, don't worry about it. It'll all make sense in time. By the Emperor's will, it shall be done. Just have faith, Jeff. Have faith.
You're right. I'll have some blind faith here.
There you go. See, that's what us Cadians have, blind faith. Wait. I mean true faith. Hang on now.
But all right.
Okay. They had come to Demork to answer the call for help of the governor. Fairly standard if depressing situation. The governor's own incompetence had ruined the local economy, driving the people to rebellion and then to heresy. After shooting the blasted fool, the colonel had begun the slow process of purging the planet from the taint, one city at a time. Classic, grinding warfare. The kind of battles the Imperial Guard had been made for when the traitor Marines came. They had probably been on the planet from the beginning, cultivating deceit and blasphemy in the shadows. Information about them was scarce. They seemed to be everywhere, striking at every weak point, every target. Estimates of the traitor Astades' numbers went from a handful to the equivalent of an entire chapter. When the 247th had been slowly but steadily pushing the rebels back, a few days after the first Chaos Marine sightings, they were hard-pressed to hold the capital. The soldiers had called for help, of course. The colonel had put his pride aside and sent an astropathic message to whomever could hear the moment he had confirmed of the Marines' presence. He had described the traitor's tactics and appearance in great detail, joining several pics of the sea-green scaled armor of the Chaos Marines. The mere memory of what had happened then made Saul want to scream in anger. A single message bearing the seal of the Holy Inquisition, sent by the Lord Inquisitor Azarkan Larov of the Ordo Malleus. It had been quite long and flowery, full of prayers and reminders of the Imperial Guard's duties. It was also a death sentence. Interesting.
Yeah, it sounds like I can't remember the name of the Chaos Marines now, but they kind of like they have that kind of armor and they like can cloak in the other good-looking Marines, and then they just pounce out and start killing Marines
So they're like
because
cats.
they're like cats, but with camo.
Camo cats.
Yeah, camo cats. I can't remember the name of the chapter of the Chaos Space Marines. Oh my
You're gonna
god.
have to Google it.
I'm not Googling it. No, we're just gonna roll with
Okay.
it. Somebody will tell us the chapter of Marines that these guys are talking about.
Or it'll come back to you as I'm reading. No help was en route. In truth, none would ever come. Demoric was considered lost, a new Perdita world in the galactic map, where no Imperial ship would ever sail. If the ship of the regiment, the Tear of Lament, was ever seen again in Imperial space, she would be destroyed without hesitation nor warning. 274th was ordered to die against the heretics. All orders of the regiment erased. This was what the Emperor demanded of them. Azakan's message claimed. Knowledge of the traitor Marines who belonged to some group the Inquisition had called the Alpha Legion was a poison to the soul. Their lies spread like a cancer through the ranks of those who fought against them, and to gather more forces would only give them more opportunities. Better for the Guard to die than to risk whatever scheme the fiends had planned to come to fruition.
That was it, the Alpha Legion. Yeah. They cloak themselves to look like, Ultramarines, and then they get where they need to get, and then they uncloak themselves and start killing people from within.
Sound strategy.
I mean, it really is. I can't argue with it. Although, it does suck for your people because they're ordered to die.
We live and breathe as the Emperor dictates. Therefore, if he sees fit, we must also die for it.
Yeah, I can't get behind that.
No, there are days I tap out.
You retreat to the news center.
I go back to my broadcasting studio and I'm like, ooh, that was
I could just
that was a hard no.
like we demand you die, and he comes on the news the next day, and the Emperor, they're all like, "Look, my lord, he's on the TV again."
My lord, the Cadian you had ordered dead still breathes. How odd. And I'm just like flipping off the Emperor.
And you're just like, and you're just sitting there like, Sergio, bring me my damn coffee.
Oh, it's a glorious day in the Imperium when the God Emperor orders you dead, isn't it? Big smiles. Big smiles.
I bet it is when you don't have to be dead.
It's a good day in the Imperium. It is a good Imperium. I'm liking the story so far.
Oh yeah, it's pretty good. I like it.
It's very intense, and I feel for our boy here. Our boy,
we know his faith. Our faith. We know his fate because he's been ordered to die. So I half expect him to die now.
What is that one?
Someone fetch a priest.
Someone fetch a priest. Oh, it's like from Bridgerton. Prayers, sorrows, and prayers. Oh.
Jesus.
Don't judge me. All right. Of an entire regiment and its support personnel, only 200 souls remained. In the heart of the ruined palace of the governor, these dirty, hungry, and betrayed men and women, preparing to die in vain. A third of them should have been in a medbay, not clutching lasguns with almost empty power charges. But they would die with a weapon in their hands, Saul had decided. Even thrice-cursed Inquisition could not take that last dignity from them. Saul had been a commissar before they had been abandoned, though rank held no meaning now in the light of the Inquisition's edict and the suicide of the colonel. He had become de facto leader of the remaining guardsmen. We will die for the Emperor, he had told them amidst the ruins of Laturia, when the troops of the Alpha Legion and their minions had appeared on the horizon. And we will do it, cursing the traitors with our last breath, and if a few of you curse Azakron as well, I am quite sure he will forgive you. They had laughed at that. The first time Saul's words had ever made someone laugh, and the last time any of them had laughed. It had been more out of raw despair than any amusement, but that was still more than Saul had experienced. Strangely, standing in front of certain death after being abandoned by his masters, Saul was closer to the soldiers of the 247th than he had ever been in his life. Damn.
That sucks. I mean, it sounds like they're finally getting along after like knowing each other for probably 20, 30
The
years.
writing here is superb. It's a short story, but already I feel like I hope there's hope for Saul and his guardsmen. I want them to come out of it. And the fact that this author was able to like implant so much emotion in a short amount of time is really, really fantastic. So far, I'm loving it.
Yeah, it's coming together really well. I like that they're bringing in known like Chaos Legions. He didn't make any up. He's actually bringing in good legions, and the fact that you believe these people are going to live is quite interesting.
And a guardsman not
That's
hope.
not what 40K is about. Yeah, no, that's not what 40K is about. Hope is not in the grim darkness.
Well, that sucks.
I'm just letting you know, like this isn't like Lord of the Rings where the Hobbit like gets his finger bitten off and the guy falls into the lava. Like it's not. That's not going to happen.
How easily you said those words without even comprehending the gravity of that moment. It wasn't just a happenstance, it was a necessity, a choice made over decades, like culminating in that one moment where Smeagol like grabs the ring and is tossed off the mountain. It wasn't just the ring's doom, it was his doom as well, and the salvation of an entire planet.
I'm going to let you know right now, that was like a 3-day journey of walking and running. You just drop a ring in a volcano.
It was not a 3-day journey. It took like a freaking year.
That was a year?
Yeah.
They didn't even grow as characters. Like they were like the same. Like they didn't even look like it was a year's past. No one grew a beard the entire time they were running.
Why?
You're telling me they stopped and shaved the whole time?
Why is that the draw of your focus? That they didn't grow beards?
Because they're grown men running across a field.
It's fantasy.
Well, no, but it's a year. No one grows facial hair. No one grows hair in a year. Were they grooming themselves as they went? Like I don't get it.
You know, there was I forget where I heard it, but the gentleman who played Samwell in Game of Thrones,
Yeah,
he's a large individual. And a fan came up to him and said, "You crossed terrains and mountains and valleys, and you didn't lose any weight." That is so.
that's what I'm saying.
And the guy was like, "Dude, it didn't actually happen though. I didn't actually travel all that way. It was TV." But to your question, I would say that elves probably don't grow facial hair naturally because they're blessed by Uluvatar. And Gimli definitely had a beard for sure, and I'm sure it was growing already. Aragorn had facial hair.
But he had it the whole movie. He had the same stubble the whole movie.
Who's to say he didn't shave it up a bit? I mean, and you know,
they didn't let the poor hobbits have their 7 meals a day. Why would they take the time to eat? I mean, to shave.
I don't know, dude. I can't answer it. I think
I'm just saying, it felt like it happened in like 3 days. It didn't feel like it happened in a year.
Well, it was a year. Okay. Not everything about fantasy movies needs to be explained or make sense. Sometimes it's just the magic of just believing.
I mean, they could have just like put a timeline in there at some point.
I mean, I guess they could have.
You know, like when they went on their journey, they could have put like, I don't know what months they have in there. Let's just say like October, you know, first. That's when they went on the journey. Yeah, that's when they went on vacation.
October. Oh, that's brilliant. October.
That's a That's a celebrated holiday amongst Warhammer fans.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that. For those of you who don't know, I actually know it all about Warhammer, so
But seriously, Orktober is a thing. It's a Warhammer thing.
wow. Orktober. The implications are fabulous.
Oh, they are. Like all the people who do like the greatest conversions come out of the woodworks and they start doing all sorts of crazy stuff for Orktober.
Oh, I'm for it. I need to witness this Orktober. Is there like do the orcs converge at a location and have a get together, or is that just not a thing?
Oh no, we'll hit up our friend Ants and he will teach you all about Orktober.
Fascinating. I'm ready to learn.
Shall we move forward?
Yes, I think it's time to chug right along. The chanting started again, and the guardsmen raised their weapons towards the choke points they had established. For some stupid reason, the audience room of the palace could be reached by 3 great passages whose gates had been locked down long ago. With suppressing squads and flying teams, Saul had been able to force the enemy to spend thousands of lives in the 2 weeks they had spent trapped there. They came in droves, forcing their way up the corpses of their predecessors, just as they had each time the cursed chanting had started. Human cultists, driven insane by their blasphemous beliefs, charged the entrenched troops, wielding nothing more than makeshift weapons, and chanting the mad song of chaos with dried lips and sore throats. Dozens of them died in the first moments of their charge, but every death fulfilled its purpose, forcing the loyalists to expend their precious ammunition. Saul stood at the central gate, his chainsword in hand, 10 of the most robust survivors next to him. Together, they beat to death the few heretics who made it past the laser fire, breaking their bones in whatever bludgeoning instrument they had picked up. The smell of death was almost enough to make the troopers pass out. The cultists rank of rot and corruption, and their flesh was ripe with hideous mutations that reflected their twisted souls. Saul fought and killed, letting rightful anger fuel his tired body. He roared his hate at the traitors before starting to recite one of the litanies of unforgiveness, spending his precious breath so that his comrades would hold their ground.
The heretic shall burn in the fire of his wrath.
He punched a cultist in the face before seizing his left hand and impaling his foe on his own weapon, a short blade that looked like it had once been a kitchen knife.
The unclean shall be purged in the blaze of his fury.
Saul pushed his chainsword through the guts of a rabid female wearing tattered robes and activated the weapon for a fraction of a second, burning a little more of its Prometheum's reserves. The heretic burst apart in a shower of gore and rancid flesh, giving even his crazed fellows pause.
And the traitors
Finished Saul with a feral smile.
shall die at the point of his sword.
They lost 12 more men during that assault, torn apart by one of the cultists who had made it past the choke points or blasted into oblivion by a suicide bomber. None of them had died in silence. Saul was giving a small service over their bodies. For those of them whose remains could still be gathered, when the voice boomed across the room. It came from the outside, screamed across the entire ruined city by the overpowered Vox speakers. The voice of a demigod sounded, and Saul had to steady himself to not fall under the sheer volume of the terrible voice. Around him he saw several of his men clutching their heads, blood trickling from their ears.
Soldiers of the Imperial Guard, you've been betrayed. Your masters have abandoned you, just like they had abandoned the people of this world. You have been sacrificed in the name of ignorance. We give you one last chance to live. Throw down your weapons and come out of your hole. Do this and you will be spared. Refuse and it is I and my brothers who shall kill you. We grant you 1 hour to make your decision. Choose well or face the might of the Alfarius and his son.
The voice went silent. Saul looked around him, seeing dozens of eyes looking at him. He lifted his chainsword and pointed it toward the middle gate.
Anyone dares to step in and out of our room,
said the former commissar,
I will kill them myself. We hold our ground, sons and daughter of Cadia. We hold our damn ground, and we will die for the Emperor rather than bow to this warp-first traitors.
I nodded grimly. No cheer. No roar of defiance. they would make their point to the heretics with deeds, not words. The Alpha... Go ahead.
I love this. It's really descriptive. I feel like we're in the battle watching these things happen.
It's so
But
good.
like this end here, like die for the Emperor thing, man, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I want to be a chaos thing either, because I don't want to that doesn't suit me, but dying for somebody because they don't want to help us, this doesn't seem right either.
I am split on it. If I'm just me as a person reading the content, not as like a fictional character in the universe, but I can see it from both ends. I can see the despair, but I can also see the glory in the inevitable death for a purpose higher than yourself. Now, of course, I could never actually know what that feels like in the moment, but I can empathize and I can imagine. And though it is terrifying, there is honor in it, at least a fraction of it. At least in the moment where it matters, there's honor for those guardsmen. And in reality, it's horrible. It is absolutely needless. And in that, I do think the God Emperor is an absolute monster. I mean, and more than just that way, but he is a monster for doing this to his own subjects. And they're just brainwashed to believe that what they're fighting for is an obtainable goal. And it's really tragic. And this writer is capturing it so freaking well. I'm so hooked on the moment and what these poor people are going through, but I'm also rooting for them, whether they make it out or not, which I don't think they will. But even if they don't, I'm still rooting for them.
Yeah, this gives the 100% feel of like when you read like when the Germans invaded Russia and how the Russian people fought and got like this same things happen in real life. Like they were abandoned so they could hold other posts and they were just left to die and fight for the glory of Stalin. It's just crazy that people are willing to do this for someone who abandoned them.
Yeah. I think there's a moment in the human soul where you have something that's precious to you and you hold it in your hands, and when you know that either this precious thing for yourself or everything you know is going to be taken, there is a moment where you just kind of jump off the ledge or you run, fight or flight. But for those who can maintain themselves or who are just terrified enough to go and fight, that moment is just so poignant and terrifying and just I hate to say the word glorious because it really just depends on your perspective if it's glorious or not.
Well, it really depends on who wins the war, if it's glorious or not.
Yeah, it's
like that whole history is written by the people who win the battles.
Mm-hmm.
So like if Seoul doesn't win this battle, they'll just look like a bunch of idiots that held a room until they died.
Honestly, that is so freaking badass. A bunch of idiots who held the room for just a little bit longer. Like that, yeah,
I don't understand why they're not trying to get off the planet or trying to do anything like that. Because like they know help's not coming. They know they're the last guys alive. And they're gonna stand their ground for the God Emperor. Why isn't somebody like, hey bro, look, we got some spaceships back there. Maybe they can fly us off this planet.
That's true. That could be an option. But I assume in this particular scenario, maybe that option just isn't available.
Yeah, it's probably not. They're probably just like in the base and they're just trying to live.
Or it's a Warhammer scenario where it's like, well, the God Emperor said so, so I guess we can't.
Yeah, that's true. That's probably really what's going on.
Which, again, psychological torment for members of the Imperium. if you don't do what the God Emperor orders or his proxies, even if you have a chance of survival, like, you're just going to die anyway. Probably by a more horrible means, and your name will most likely be stricken from honor anyway. So there's just no winning. And that just sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, you either go down as like a hero or you just go down. Yeah, that's crap. That sucks.
Yeah. It absolutely does. It's just dumb. But yeah, no, this story, I would love to see this acted out.
This could be another Warhammer play, you
Yeah,
know?
you're right, a Warhammer
This
musical.
the last stand of Saul.
Oh, how epic. The Last
Yeah,
Stand.
I mean, really immortalize the poor guy. I could see it, like, you would have, like, this quote unquote, like, bodies built up and these people running up to try to kill him, and then he sticks the fake sword through him, and blood and guts goes all over the audience, and he starts singing some song about how glorious it is to live for the Emperor.
Don't fear the rising tide. The Emperor will reward you. Something silly like that.
Yeah, exactly like that. I totally watch it.
I would too. Let's get that Warhammer musical underway. I endorse it.
Yeah, someone needs to start on this. Like Jim Hansen has to be contacted and be like, bro, we need some puppets.
We need some latex put together. Let's do this, dude. Oh, you know what we could do? We should get in touch with this author and do some animation.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun.
That would be fun. And he could like write us up some incredible stories and I'll animate it for him.
This was published in October of the 22nd in 2014. So maybe it's possible to get in touch.
Maybe we'll have to. I'll reach out and see. I'll send the Imperial Seal, and maybe that'll get his attention.
Heck yeah, everybody be thrilled that we're doing this.
Absolutely. You know, I mean, his writing is just mwah, so good. I am hooked.
Yeah, I don't really read a lot of like 40K anything. This is pretty good. I like it.
Yeah. No, this is 10 out of 10 so far. The Alpha Legion charged 1 hour later. The first guard to die passed to the other side of the veil a few seconds before the first shot was fired from the Loyalist lines. His skull exploded under the impact of a long-range bolter rifle. A killing shot from a legionary sniper hidden behind the rebels' barricades. At the 3 corridors' ends. Another 3 died when a plasma cannon tore a path open through the pile of corpses in the left gallery, the heat melting their eyes in their sockets. 4 traitor marines charged on each passage, moving faster than anything wearing that kind of armor ought to be capable of. The guardsmen opened fire together, their weapons at full power, spending their last ammunition in the hope of bringing down at least one of the Chaos Marines. The traitors were shooting back, their precision undiminished by their charge. Their warped, twisted bolters spat death at the servants of the throne, tearing through flesh and flank armor with equal ease. One of the traitor marines went down, his brain burst by a lucky shot that had pierced through his already cracked eye lens. Another crashed on the ground when one of Saul's last bolts shattered his right knee. He kept advancing, crawling forward while covering fire for his brothers. That was all the damage the Loyalists made before the Legionnaires reached them, and the butchery began. In the entire galaxy, there is no kind of living being more lethal than the Space Marines. Individuals may surpass them, Eldar Blade Masters, Orc War Bosses, Tyranid Hive Lords, even exceptional humans. They can defeat a grandchild of the Emperor in battle. But as a species unto their own, the Astartes are without equal. They are made for war the same way other races are made to survive. The entirety of their being is forced to that purpose. Saul had known that. He had studied the Space Marines to be ready if he ever fought at their side, or rather, given Cadian's location, when he had to face the traitor legions himself, but he had never seen what a Chaos Marine was truly capable of before that day, when he clashed blades with a warrior of the Alpha Legion. As a prospect commissar of a Cadian regiment, Saul had been trained by the best swordsman the Schola could find. He had fought alongside the 247th on a dozen worlds, and dueled countless enemies during that time. But against an Astartes, all that training and experience amounted to precisely nothing. The first blow crashed his chainsword in two. The second cut off his left hand before he could aim his bolt pistol with it. With nothing remaining but the hate in his heart, Saul hurled himself at the inhuman warrior. In the fraction of a second before the backhand blow of the giant hit him, the commissar had a glimpse of the monster. His armor was covered in green scales except for a few spots where a gray skin was exposed. His helmet was a terrifying sight, modified or mutated in the form of a daemon's open jaw, and its eyelid shone with a sickening yellow light. His right hand held a power sword whose blade was etched with blasphemous runes, and the bolter in his left had a cannon reforged into a snake spitting its venom. Saul saw all of this in the time it took, the hand holding the gun to reach for his torso. He crashed onto the ground, feeling bones breaking across his body. His head swam and his vision blurred in pain. He thought he could hear his name being shouted, but all he could focus on were the heavy footsteps drawing ever closer to him. It felt as if time was slowing down, each fall of caramide-clad boots, a bell ringing to herald his doom. When the giant finally entered his field of vision again, Saul managed to speak. He uttered a single word, the same question billions had on their lips at the moment of their death in the war that had maimed a god and destroyed his dream 10,000 years ago.
Why?
For a moment, the giant paused. As if underwater, Saul heard screams of his comrades as they died at the traitor's hands. He kept his gaze focused on the Chaos Marine towering above him, desperately fighting off the darkness that threatened to engulf him, ignoring the pain of his broken body and the weakness caused by the blood leaking from his left arm. He had to know the answer. He had to know.
Or the Emperor.
Oh my goodness, we're almost through though. That was intense.
Yeah, that was a lot. Like, I could physically see like this guy getting backhanded by this giant marine. I was like, good God, man. Like, way to get knocked out.
I feel nothing but just sadness and pity, and I love this story so far, completely.
Yeah, really good way to sell how hardcore the Imperial Guard really are.
At the end, just badass without question.
Yeah. He really just fought until he couldn't fight anymore. That's pretty crazy.
It is one thing to be genetically modified and to possess the abilities that the Space Marines have, the grandchildren of the Emperor, and come out of a battle somewhat unscathed. It is another thing entirely to be completely human, have training, be damned well trained, but still go into battle with armor that barely covers, the most important parts of your body, and still go guns blazing, all out without stopping. And with that in mind, I have to say that the Cadians are 10 times more heroic, more badass than the Space Marines. You just have to give them the credit, because the Space Marines are walking up with like 10-inch thick armor, genetically modified monsters, and they're worshipped. But the Cadians are out there, blood, sweat, tears, piles and piles and piles of them, and they're holding the line. In my opinion, my most humble opinion, the Cadians are the real heroes of Warhammer, hands down. Hands down.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're the ones out there actually sacrificing something. The Space Marines, you kill a Space Marine, you got that little doctor that comes out there, pulls out that thing inside of them, and just puts it in another Space Marine.
Yeah. And
And then the guard, you're going to planet and be like, you look strong enough. Get on the ship.
yep. And they're not even remembered for it. At least not, the
Well, no,
guards.
they get their honor in death.
That story is making me feel things I'm not ready to feel at 8:44 at night.
Yeah, we started this late, but it's getting kind of deep,
If this was made into a
Yeah,
movie, I don't think I could watch it without a tissue.
if this was a play, like it'd be pretty hard because you'd be like, you'd feel bad for this guy. Like halfway through it, you're like, you're cheering for him, but at the same time, there's no way he can win.
No. There's just no way. And to hear...
I wonder.
Go ahead.
I wonder if he's gonna live through this and if he's gonna have to go back and do.
This living through that moment, like the last few moments of your life, on top of hearing the screams of the people you were supposed to protect dying around you in the most horrific way you can possibly imagine, culminate that into like 60 seconds. The human mind cannot handle that much just information all at once. And just the saturation, like the emotional saturation of those 60 seconds, brain breaking.
Yeah. Could you imagine if this was like a real thing and good old Saul here had to return to society after living through this? There'd be no way. Like, I don't care what treatments they put him on or how many little gummies he ate. This guy would be wrecked for the rest of his life.
Absolutely wrecked. Unless they made him like a machine, they like indoctrinated him into the Adeptus Mechanicus. There's no way.
Are they made him into a servo skull?
Oh my god.
I'm just throwing out options, like there's options.
Oh, why is this universe so depressing?
Because it's like the only universe that's only cares about fighting and killing. That's it.
That's exhausting.
Yeah, a little bit.
Isn't it?
Especially for just reading this, you're just like, good God, what other hardships can they go through? Like the guy lost an arm, our hand, he got knocked out, he's bleeding on the floor to death. I'm pretty sure he broke his spine because, you get hit by a space marine, you're probably not going to get up after that. You probably broke everything.
It's like getting hit by a bullet train. Ugh. You know what? We need to make Saul an honorary angel on the channel.
Or we need to make Saul like a short story, like to show like how badass he was.
Oh, you mean a short animation short?
Yeah.
No, I'm all for it. I want to. Yes, Saul deserves that, especially the moment when he rams his chainsword into a chaos chick. Hell yeah, I am all for the blood and gore.
Yeah,
we just gotta make sure YouTube approves of it.
Well, just make it more cartoony than serious.
Okay, fine. fine. Well, let's see where our boy Saul has ended up.
Yeah, let's do that.
He woke up in a bed. Oh, thank God. His many wounds bandaged, his broken bones set back and fixed in a dozen casts. Intravenous feeds were connected to his right arm, and a stump of artificial flesh ended his left wrist. The air smelt of old blood and chemicals, the smell of a hospital used to heal those wounded in war. All he could see was the ceiling of the room. The metal was clean and untouched by rust, and all he could hear was the myriad noises that were typical of life aboard a ship. A ship? Blood of the Emperor. What was he doing on a ship? He should be dead. Even if he had somehow survived the attack, there was no way any ship would have braved the Inquisition's will. What was going on? Where was he? He tried to speak, to move. But despite the adrenaline flowing through him, now as panic began to claim him, he was unable to make his muscles obey him. Something must have been monitoring his vitals, however, for an alarm chime began to rise from one of the machines he was connected to. He heard quick footsteps, and a man wearing the uniform of a medic of the guard appeared to his right. Saul's eardrums had been healed from the damage dealt to them by the Alpha Legion's message, for he understood what the man said perfectly.
Easy there, Commissar. You are safe now. Now that you are awake and there's no risk of you harming yourself by crashing in your sleep, I am going to lower the dosage of muscle inhibitor you have been injected with.
Ben quickly did something on the machine before turning back to Saul.
Now, this will take some time for you to start feeling the effects, so in the meantime, I will answer the questions you are most probably asking yourself. You are aboard the Claw of Duty with the 72nd Arnite Regiment. We received your call for help, though this was horribly garbled and came to your aid. By the time we arrived, though there wasn't a single signal coming from Gameric, except from the vials of distress that led us, you, and the governor's palace, surrounded by heretic corpses. We found you and 19 other survivors unconscious and in a grave danger of succumbing to your wound. We have already lost 5 of you, and you are the first one to awaken. It is 24 days since we left Gameric behind to report to the command of the sector about this.
Dude.
24 days. And he wakes up. Jesus.
Barely put together. Oh my gosh, only 19.
I think that's exceptional that 19 people survived. Well, 15 if the 4 already died, but still, that's pretty good.
Yeah, those are good numbers, but he started with like a whole
200 people or something?
Yeah, like a whole regiment. And now it's just him. He doesn't know he does now, but like just on the other end of near death. I can't imagine. I can't imagine. Oh man.
I don't get what, like, again, if this was a real life situation, this guy would be unsavable. Like, his mind would be dead.
Like
psych ward the rest of his life kind of thing.
Absolutely. We need to make Justice for Saul t-shirts for the events.
We should.
We really do. Justice for Saul t-shirts coming to Hostile Galaxy events near you. Order now. Oh my gosh, we so should. Justice for Saul. Justice for Saul!
I want to just go outside of a prison and hold up a sign that says Justice for Saul.
Justice for Saul!
I believe there's a correctional facility down the street from where I live, and I can probably just go stand out there with that. Justice for Saul.
You might hear someone shout back, yeah! Absolutely! Oh man, Justice for Saul. Okay. Saul managed to force his lips to move, his vocal cords to perform their function.
But the Inquisition. Message. No help was coming. For Didia.
The medic raised an eyebrow.
Our astrophysic channels with the rest of the Imperium have been quite clear recently, Commissar. When we received your call for help, we relayed it to the rest of the Imperium, but we have heard no word of the Holy Ordos in a long time. Might it last even longer yet? No, the Alpha Legion. They said it had been abandoned, sacrificed, left to die and be forgotten.
Compassion appeared on the medic's face as he recognized what he thought to be the signs of battle trauma and exposure to things that no man of faith could ever be made to see.
I am afraid, my friend, that you have been deceived by some traitor's ruse. But don't worry, you are alive, and Demarac is no longer in anyone's hands, frankly. Whatever ploy they thought to use to break your will, it didn't work. Tell me, what is this Alpha Legion, Ika?
What?
Did they... What? Like, are they saying it didn't even happen?
So they didn't get orders from the Inquisition, and there was no Alpha Legion. So what happened? What were they fighting?
Oh no, I think they were fighting the Alpha Legion. But I think maybe somebody blocked their, they intercepted their transmission and they were like, oh yeah, we're not helping you. They were just lying to them, you know?
What happened?
Somebody invaded that planet and made sure the guard thought they had no help coming.
To what end? Like,
I mean, probably to break them, and hopefully they didn't have a resistance.
maybe the Alpha Legion did really go there, and they were just hoping like to like get more recruits. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe they were hoping they would just give up
Yeah.
and not try to protect the Emperor's, planet. That's what it seems like, because if there was no like intercepted message, or there was nobody relaying messages back, it seems like somebody intercepted the message and just threw some nonsense out there saying, "Hey, we're not going to come help you."
So let's just
I think they were trying to break. Maybe they were trying to break them.
so let's assume there were no ships for them to escape. They didn't have an option. They did get like a fake message from the Inquisition. And all of that was like orchestrated by the Alpha Legion to recruit them. I'm just going to assume.
Yeah.
Even so, the fact that they held the line like that is just grounds for retirement. What is the word? Not condemnation. Is it condemnation?
I have no idea.
Rewards. Something. But also the fact that there's like, tell me, what is this Alpha Legion you spoke of? How could someone not know? Like,
Well, this seems like the Horus Heresy era right now. They're talking about, and they're talking about traitor legions and all that, and like the Alpha Legion. This is what they do. Like they kind of just like insert themselves into an area, and then without notice, they turn on you, and they try to wipe out your entire, you know, planet without any survivors, so you can't talk about them.
interesting. I did not know that.
So like this guy here saw them. He saw what the things were, but there were no dead Chaos Space Marines. There were just dead cultists.
They took their dead. Oh, how
They
creepy.
did something
There's
because they knew there were other dead people there besides them.
I forget which
But
culture it was. I think it was Scottish.
Predator?
No. It was either Scottish, Saxon, or something like that, where when the Romans would fight them, they would never find any of their dead. No. I'm confusing it for a movie. So there's this really fantastic movie called I think it's the 13th Warrior. Hang on, let me Google it. It's have you seen it with Antonio Banderas?
Yeah.
Dude, when like they would kill those those animal dudes, even though they were human, but like the creatures, it was so creepy when one of the guys said, I killed 10 of them. Well, I certainly killed 5. Well, I killed 2 who could not have lived, and there's no trace of their bodies. So creepy. So if that's what happened with the Alpha Legion there, like, because the Cadians for sure killed 1. And granted, it's not hard to. I'm sure it's not hard to drag somebody out, but still, that there's no trace is so freaking creepy.
Yeah, I mean they just pull their people out, so you don't know what happened.
Bastards. And now Saul is going to be questioning everything. Did it happen? The Inquisition. What the message? He's done. He's screwed forever. Like I would not.
Well, I mean, he survived a great battle, even though no one knows what happened. I mean, he stood his ground. He's a hero. I mean, 19 of his people were pulled off that planet with him. So whether or not the other, 13 or 14 wake up, I mean, he's living proof that there is an Alpha Legion.
Yeah. I mean, you'd think someone would interview him and just try to, I don't know, get more information, but it's Warhammer and everybody who's, they have to be put to death. I don't know. I feel so much for Saul.
You feel so bad for this guy?
Justice for Saul.
I mean, Soul and his 274th Regiment, like those guys, man. Like,
Heroes.
only if they're probably going to be like, let's be realistic. You know, they pulled 19 off. They're probably going to save like 3 of them altogether.
And they're probably going to get smacked on with a bandage and sent back out the next day or something.
Yeah, they're probably being reassigned to some other regiment that needs heroes. This is just messing you up, and
it's 9:02 in the evening, and I'm going through the stages of grief for Saul and his boys.
You gonna go light a candle?
I might. Oh, very nice. Like a citrus scented candle. I will light that for Saul. I will.
I think we got a vanilla one in the house.
Ooh. I like.
Oh, you know what? I'll light. I went on a trip to. I want to say I was in Kentucky, and they had these whiskey candles. I think I'm just gonna light one of those.
I'll take pictures of it.
That might be appropriate. Yeah, that might be really appropriate.
Everyone in the comments, light a candle for Saul. Take a picture. Justice for Saul, hashtag. Oh, man.
This was just wild. Completely wild. Especially the ending where just they don't even know what he's talking about. That's insane.
So good. And it wasn't even so much of a twist. It was just an expansion of the story. And I guess deeper lore of the Alpha Legion being so secretive and freaking Imperium being so messed up. Such a good story. We're going to have to read more of his for sure.
Oh, yeah. Because, I mean, at first I was all like, oh, yeah, that's the Emperor. He don't care about his people. Yeah. But obviously, his people would come if he called for help.
Mm-hmm. That at least is... Well, at least it was, I assume, a Cadian ship, so I'd like to believe that, Cadians will be there for other Cadians.
One would hope.
One would hope. Lord, let at least that be true in the Warhammer universe. If nothing else, let Cadians be there for Cadians.
Amen.
Amen. Oh, I am emotionally wrecked by that story. Props again to the author, Zahariel. 10 out of 10. Fantastic story. We're gonna have to reach out and get in touch with this person if he's even still active at all. But so good. So good, you guys. Go check out. He has like 41 of these short stories on fanfiction.net. So good. I would love to look into more of his work. But for my first Warhammer fanfiction, blown away. I'm blown away. That was incredible.
Yeah, that was really good. I don't really read a lot of Warhammer or anything, but that was good. I would say that could be in the lore, and it wouldn't hurt anything.
It absolutely should be in the lore. Saul is a hero, and he needs to be remembered as part of Cadia's grand, proud troop of heroes. You know what? I'm going to do art for Saul. I'm going to make some art for him. Justice for Saul. I'm not going to let it down.
I can't wait to see it. Yeah, I know. You're going to probably have it up tomorrow.
Maybe. Well, no, I have. My butt is going to be in school.
Oh.
Monday through Thursday, baby. Well, there you have it. This fantastic short story by Zahariel. If you guys would like to see us read more stories by Zahariel, please let us know. And or if you have your own stories or know of any good fan fictions you would like us to read, please leave it in the comments, leave a link, leave a tag, let us know so that we can do more of these in the future. Because I had a good time. Jeff, did you have a good time?
I had a great time.
Perfect. Then we will definitely try to do more of these because some of these, I mean, obviously we have amazing authors out there and they need to be recognized and we're here for it. So thank you guys. Again, I'm the Cadian Reporter.
I'm Jeff with Swamp Fox Wargaming.
And we'll see you guys next time. Thank you for tuning in. Bye.
Have a good night, guys, and justice for Saul.
Justice for Saul. Hell yeah. Justice for Saul. Awesome.